My name is Emmanuel Cephas, and I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm very proud of that. My background is in computer science and physics, but I'm also the founder of a education tech startup company, and I'll reveal to you later on what we're building. From the poorest and the toughest black ghetto in Baltimore, across the world to the richest kids in China, all of our kids possess a remarkable ability that helps them learn math, but it is rarely activated. It turns out that movement actually helps kids learn. Kid, kids who incorporate movement in their learning experiences and learn best that way are referred to as kinesthetic learners. And it turns out that more than 2/3 of our children are kinesthetic learners, and a higher percentage of African American males are. Research at the University of Chicago has shown that when children incorporate hand movements and learning to solve math problems, they actually learn better than kids that do not incorporate hand movement. Across the world in the United Kingdom, they're putting this research to practice. In their classrooms, they're already ahead, and they have kids associating hand gestures with various math operations and math symbols, and they're able to solve word problems using those techniques. So who's benefiting? Well, kids in research settings in America are benefiting, kids in the United Kingdom are benefiting, but most kids in American public schools are not. Why? What's happening here? I'm gonna reveal to you what's really happening. There are mainly three reasons. The first one is most teachers lack the resources, and also most teachers are unaware that these solutions exist, mainly because they come from areas that are outside of the expertise of most of these teachers, such as psychology, cognitive science, and computer science. The second reason is it's actually pretty hard. It's easy to create movement-based learning experiences in elementary school and kindergarten. People play with blocks and so forth. But how do you do it for things like algebra, solving equations? That's where it falls down. And the main reason is that we've all been misled by this attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. If you can compare and contrast the symptoms of a person who's a kinesthetic learner to the symptoms of a person with ADHD, you realize that a person that has ADHD is actually just a kinesthetic learner that seems to have behavior problems. But since there's a shortage of movement-based learning experiences in math in most classes, then people with ADHD are actually kinesthetic learners that are deprived of kinesthetic learning experiences. So now with that understanding, we can look at some existing problems in America and understand them in a new way. You wouldn't expect many scientists, technologists, and engineers because they depend on math, and math is taught in a way that contradicts most of the learning styles of most of our kids. You would also suspect that there will be a connection between the lack of these kinesthetic learning experiences and an increase in ADHD diagnosis, and an increase in obesity. And we'll talk about violence later. Oh, wait a minute, that's actually the situation in America, right? There's been an increase in ADHD, increase in ADHD medications, violence related to side effects from ADHD medications, and an increase in obesity. But we probably understand better why now, today. So if ADHD is pretty much just a person who's a kinesthetic learner that's deprived of their kinesthetic learning experiences, well, maybe we can alleviate some of the behavior problems with a person with ADHD if we give them movement-based learning experiences. Look at that. Research evidence shows from the University of Miami School of Medicine all the way to Beijing, China, that Chinese movement practices such as Tai Chi and Qigong actually alleviate symptoms and behavior problems with people with ADHD. So these kids who allegedly have ADHD, those behavior problems are actually reactions from being deprived from kinesthetic learning experiences. And one way you suppress a rebellion is with chemical weapons, and that's what ADHD medications are. So hyperactivity is not a sickness, it's a cry for hyperactive learning experiences. And that's what we have to understand. So I actually have a solution for this problem. We should look at the hyperactivity in kids the same way Nikola Tesla looked at Niagara Falls. Nikola Tesla saw that hyperactivity as an opportunity to generate electrical power to light up the world using technology. So we too should look at kids as these sources of hyperactivity, and the question should be, what kind of technology can we use to redirect that hyperactive energy so that our kids can actually light up the world? So there's actually hope. We actually currently have, the technology is available now. So there's technology that allows programmers such as myself to create software that responds to the body movement of kids. So we have the research out there, we have the technology, and we have people like myself and my team who's committed to doing that. So our team is actually currently building a solution right now in Baltimore. We're creating software technology that enables kids to use their body movement to learn to solve equations. So sign up, come to our site, subscribe so you can be kept up to date, and talk to me later on if you want to join the movement.